Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are y'all doing? It is so great to see you. I've missed y'all. I hope you're having an amazing weekend. What a weekend. It's been a bonkers weekend. There's so much happening. We actually have the moon conjunct Pluto right now, which is really nice in Aquarius. So I love that. I love that. And you may be feeling that too. You may be feeling that's powerful. It's a conjunction, right? So the energies of the moon and Pluto are fusing, right? So this is letting your truths come to the surface. This is feeling empowered, a lot of emotional empowerment as well. It is really, really, really nice. It's really nice. I love it when the moon conjuncts Pluto in Aquarius, maybe because I'm in Aquarius, but all about your future. Remember, Aquarius is about your future, community, great time to be with friends, and it's and your network, or your family even. It's the moon. So really, really wonderful. And that's not just like the astrology, that's like me channeling too. So really, really great time. How's everybody doing? We had Uranus conjunct the sun over the weekend. That happened yesterday. So as you know, that's like surprises. And I want to remind you, everything is energy, everything's frequency, right? You have vibrated that high frequency. So Uranus, yeah, it can, what that Kazemi that happened yesterday, you'll still feel today, but oh yeah, it can bring surprises, it can bring the unexpected, or you could have your breakthrough. I love that happening with the moon conjunct Pluto right now, because Uranus is the ruler for Aquarius, with Pluto and the moon in Aquarius. So you see how that lines up. And so, we talk about these lunations in the second spread, the bonus spreads, but anyway, it's amplified. Did anyone have anything happen that's exciting? Remember, this is going to be a big storyline that plays out for some time now, because we have Mercury conjunct Uranus. All right, so that's going to happen next weekend. So you see how Uranus is really strong right now, and we're going to talk about this when we talk about June. Uranus is going to be moving to the 29-degree point. Remember, Uranus is moving into Gemini in July, in the very beginning of July. I think it's like July 6th or 7th. And so Uranus is about to leave Taurus after being here since 2018. And that's why you're still going to feel that Uranian energy at that critical degree, that energetic degree. So what's happening now, right? It's a storyline that you're still going to feel in June. So you want to have those breakthroughs. It's all about progress. It's all about your future. And so use these energies right now. They're being given to you to use these energies and have your breakthrough. And it's nice. And yeah, things can be surprising, and it can be little things too. Everyone's different, right? Everyone is going to be impacted differently. As an example, if you want, like, just as kind of like an example, me, for instance, like and I'm going to explain, and I think I already explained it last, I think 2 weeks ago, or in your last live stream. I'm seeing my family next week for the first time in a long time. And I'm also going to a wedding, and that's why, I've got a lot to do before I leave, because I'm going to be away that entire week. But I am kind of like in charge of planning our trip to Florida, me and my family. And there was, a place that we found, and it was just going a lot, like, back and forth with my family a lot. Like, they're always changing their mind on where they want to go, where they, like, just flip-flopping and going back and forth with some of these properties. And then finally, they picked one. I got in touch with the owner, right? And we are going back and forth, with, Ruby, bringing Ruby, all of that. And it was confirmed. Everything was confirmed. They're like, great, you're free to book. And I was like, amazing. I'll do it when I get home. I'm literally walking Ruby right now. And I got home 45 minutes later, and it was already booked. It was already booked. Can you believe that? Within 45 minutes? And so that's why, that's why I say everything is made of energy, because of course that's a moment where you can be like, right? Like, I could have, like, knocked over the mic or whatnot. Or you can be at that higher frequency, and I can say, oh, that's the universe telling me that, okay, there's a better property for us. Okay, there's a better property. And thankfully, Uranus came in to swoop in and save the day. Or who knows what could have happened at that property, right? That could have been. And to be honest, the prices were a little bit lower than the other properties in that same area. And so it's all about your perspective. So I hope everyone's doing well. It's so great to see all of y'all. Hello everybody. Jennifer, you said this Leo needs change. Oh, I got big news for you. I got big news for you when we come to June. And you listen, that's the other thing. Like Mars is in Leo right now. Remember, Mars is going to be in Leo pretty much the first half of June too. And Mars is gaining a lot more speed. And so remember, with Mars, you want to take that action, right? Mars is all about action. It's your passions. But yes, it can be a lot of action, a lot happening. All right. But and that's for everybody. Remember, any of these things that I mentioned, like everyone's gonna feel it in a different area of their life, right? In a very different area of their life. But and then this weekend also, what do we have? We have Mercury square Mars. That's the other thing. So just be mindful of that. I talked about in your weekly forecast, right? Mercury square Mars coming after Mercury square Pluto. And then that's it. And then we're out of that. Those were the only two aspects that were, and it's again, how you use it, right? The trolls are out, right? So don't let anyone take away your power, right? And it can be in person too. So it's just always being the better person in the situation, and you can use it. Oh my goodness, Mercury square Mars. Oh, it squeezes out that confidence in you, that empowerment, and you taking action, especially with communication and things like that. All right. So just keep that in mind. Mercury is, a Gemini's, right? Rules Gemini. So that's why I say, like, people, like trolls or whatever online, because that does rule the internet, like the third house. So so it does happen, and I've actually seen it on my channel. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting trolled. And I actually have a friend right now that's just kind of going through the comments before I do, because I think a lot of people tend to forget I am an empath. I am very sensitive to your energy. If you've got a private reading with me, you know that I can pick up your energies. And I can see things. So it's always so interesting, because sometimes I will see some of the comments and like, I talk about energy frequency all the time, even if you get even if there are hard aspects that are happening, in the sky, or even if there's some cards that come out that are like, I will always tell you how to work with that energy and how to, rise above it, and not as, an astrologer or a tarot reader or a channeler or an empath, but all of the above. So it's just so funny when someone does leave some sort of comment, and I'm just in my head, I'm thinking, are you actually listening to, I don't, it's, but also like, why are you exerting your energy into this? Shouldn't you use that energy to work on you? Or so, but that's the thing. I understand some of these aspects can be challenging to work with for some people who are still going through some things. And that's why one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is because you're going to start seeing things change. And I told you that once we leave this last aspect, and then June, the luckiest month of 2025, so let's talk about June. There's so much happening in June that it's bonkers. It's bonkers. And again, with this live stream, there's going to be some things I discuss in this live stream that I won't be discussing in your monthly forecast for all 12 signs, which would come out next week, right? And that's because, I already do 24 forecasts a week, right? I do the bonus spreads for all 12 signs as well. And so I just can't, there's 30 aspects, right? That's not including the lunations, asteroids. That's not included. And some of these are really, really big. Like we have two of the luckiest aspects, and you get them every year. These two lucky aspects that just happen to be in June, and a lot of other things. So just know that you can always come back to this, because there will be some things that I tell you here that I won't bring up in your June forecast. But yes, later in your weekly forecast, yes. All right. And yes, of course, I'll tell you the core messaging and highlights of June right now. But remember, we are in a 9-year. All right. So that is really important to remember. And I try to bring that up all the time. Remember, this is a 9-year. Okay. It's the end for the new beginning, right? It's the snake shedding its skin. Okay. 9 is the last of the single digits, the end for the beginning. So again, all the energies that you've been experiencing since January, February, March, April, it's now you're moving into this new beginning, right? Even if you want to think about Nikolai Tesla, he said 369. They're important for a reason. 9's in there for a reason. And I can go bigger into that, but just know this is a year, 2025, the year of 9 is a big year. All right. Like we haven't even gone through half the year yet. There's so much more that just get excited. Just get excited. Okay. And remember, Saturn, Neptune, Saturn is changing signs, right? A week from now. What is it? May 18th, in 7 days, 7 days. That's huge. And then, as you know already, Jupiter is changing signs, right? In June. That's the big, and we're going to focus on that. I'm going to tell you about that. All right. But remember, Neptune moved into Aries, Pluto moved into Aquarius. And so you already have those new energies you'll be working with. You've been working with Neptune and Aries for, just a few weeks now. You'll be working with Saturn and Neptune and Aries first time in your life, right? And then Pluto and Aquarius the first time in your life. And then in June, with those planets, every planet is changing signs in June. Every single planet, all right? And except for Uranus, but remember, Uranus is at 29-degree point. You're going to feel it strongly. But Uranus is changing signs at the beginning of July. So June, of course, the moon changes signs. We know that, right? The sun changes signs. Happy birthday to Cancers, right? And to, all Geminis. And even, what day's today? Even some Tauruses. Wow, we're at that. Okay, anyway. So in June, moon, sun, Mars is changing signs. Venus is changing signs. Mercury is changing signs. Jupiter is changing signs. So you see how June is, just that alone, June is big. Okay. June is big. And again, Uranus is going to join that brigade late to the party, right? A little late to the party. Just a little bit after June. I'll look at that, but I think it's July 6th or something like that. But it's there. It's right there. And so again, there are about 30 major minor aspects in June. There's just so much happening. And it is the luckiest month for a reason. And again, we'll go through that. And with that said, though, by the way, it is the luckiest month of 2025. It doesn't mean there are not other lucky months to come. There are there are many other months that are just so amazing, okay, to come. I want you to know that. But this is going to be a memorable month, June. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean there's not going to be challenging aspects. So I want you to know that too. All right. June's not like a free pass because also with Jupiter moving into Cancer, that's a cardinal sign. You got Saturn, Neptune in Aries, cardinal sign. There's a lot of this cardinal energy, right? All at that 0-1 degree point where it's fresh and new things happening in your life. And so it's like starting a new job. You got to learn the ropes. You got to learn how to, right? So but it's an exciting time. Okay. Now, Jupiter is definitely really delivering, and June is really delivering because remember, just even like you can even go back to November. You can even go back to October, November, December, January, February, even March. even April. Yeah. They weren't the easiest months. They were, maybe slow, maybe a little bit confusing. You could have felt a little, extra sensitive as well. There was a lot happening, but a lot just coming into your consciousness as well to help prepare you for June and beyond. And so we're past all those energies now. As of today, May 18th, it just, okay. And so just know a lot of things are going to be coming into your consciousness as well around the world. I mean, this is big for the world too. And so the main thing right now, especially when you have Mercury move into Gemini and its domicile, and with all these Mercury aspects, again, a year when your readings come out for next week with a new moon in Gemini, one of the best with everything that's happening around that time. We have a Mercury Cazimi conjuncting Aldebaran. Maybe if I have time, I'll talk about that. Okay, there's so much information that I give you in your forecast. I try to, and this is where, in the bonus spreads, I have a little bit more time where I will start bringing in like fixed stars. Okay. I've been bringing in planetoids, asteroids, but slowly. So I don't overwhelm you because there's a lot. All right. So just remember, there's a lot of, there's going to be a lot of things happening, but this is all about your journey. Everything that I'm about to tell you, your journey. All right. And don't forget, we had retrogrades all from 2025 until, or beginning from January, February, March. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I mean, Venus didn't even leave shadow until like 3 days ago. So I'm not even joking. And the same thing with Jupiter. We're talking about Jupiter now that's moving into Cancer. Remember, Jupiter was retrograde until February and then was in shadow until the end of April, like literally 2 weeks ago. So when I say it's going to be like night and day from this moment forward, Jupiter is going to bring you all those blessings. All right. Promising what Jupiter delivers. So really, really, really great ramp up from this point forward. Okay. Even starting tomorrow until to get to June. And the other thing is, remember, some planets do leave parting gifts when they're changing signs. Remember, pretty much, I just told you every planet is changing signs. Other than, Saturn, Neptune already did. Pluto already did. The rest will in June and the first week of July. Okay. And so I would really, really highly suggest right now for the next 2 weeks, with Jupiter moving into that 29-degree point, right? And you've got all this energy with Mercury, with the new moon, with the Cazimi, all these amazing aspects that are happening that I've told you about in your current weekly forecast. Use it. It's a launch pad. Use it. All right. So please take advantage of Jupiter in Gemini right now, because it's a very different vibe from Jupiter in Cancer. Okay. And you will not have Jupiter in Gemini again for another 12 years. So please take advantage. This is all about everything that I said, anything communication, contracts, agreements, anything with travel, anything with launching a new business, anything with selling things or local community, like everything that I mentioned, right? So please take advantage, right? Business deals, all of that. Curiosity. That's going to be a big thing, because Jupiter in Gemini is the mind. Jupiter in Cancer, that's heart and soul. All right. So everything that you've learned the past year, you're applying it in a different way. You're moving into this next stage. When we get to June, it's going to be really big. And you'll see in June, a lot of the planets I'm going to talk about are at that late degree point, right? 28, 29 degrees, 0 degrees, right? And then 1 degree, 2 degrees, right? So a lot of new beginnings in a lot of different areas of your life. It's just, June is bonkers. It is bonkers. And so I want you to get really excited about June. All right. Now, June, remember, Saturn and Neptune we'll be together all month. So you're going to be working with that energy. It's fresh, new energy that you'll be working with. And yes, that's one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing that Saturn and Neptune and Aries video for all 12 signs. Hopefully I'll have that by the end of the month. And again, I'm sure you've seen like videos of Saturn, Neptune, in Aries for a sign, but I'm gonna do it with because you got to throw in Pluto, you have to throw in Uranus, you have to throw in these sextiles and these trines. That's the story. It's not just Saturn and Neptune together in Aries. So I'll do that for you. So keep that in mind that that's to come, but I'll tell you a little bit of what you can expect, what's going to happen in June. I'm just seeing if there's anything. Let me pull up some notes. If anything that I need to tell you before. Let's just get through it. All right. So the biggest thing of all, Jupiter changing signs, right? So that's going to happen. I think it's June 9th. Okay. So Jupiter, as we know, is the greater benefic. Yeah. So I want you to actually think about that too. When we call Jupiter the greater benefic, that think about like benefit, right? Benefactor, beneficiary. Like Jupiter is always on your side and makes good things happen, right? Jupiter is luck. Jupiter is good fortune, expansion, wisdom, right? Growth is a big thing. And so, again, Jupiter will leave you a parting gift before moving into Cancer. Okay? Jupiter and Gemini. And Jupiter is our largest planet. And so, you have to think about that as well. Jupiter being the largest planet that has such a big gravitational field, right? It's protected asteroids, meteors, all that from hitting our planet for billions of years. All right. So for me, Jupiter isn't just luck. Jupiter is like a wink from the universe. Jupiter's king of the gods, right? So it's like a wink from the king of the gods that's bringing you blessings. Okay. And making things happen and keeping you protected and giving you opportunities to grow and expand. And at the end of the day, to become wiser. All right. That's the main goal, that inner wisdom, right? That perspective, worldview, all of that. Okay. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Jupiter will throw you a bunch of life rafts. That's what Jupiter does. And I do want you to think about 2013 to 2014, the last time Jupiter was in Cancer. So we will have Jupiter in Cancer from June 9th for an entire year until June 2026. And so it doesn't matter what sign you are, you will feel this, but in a different area of your life than Jupiter in Gemini. All right. But again, you have to look at the aspects too throughout the year, right? So think about June 2013 to June 2014. If you're a Cancer, this is your what we call like the celestial favorite, because Jupiter spends about a year in every sign. And so it's a 12-year cycle. So everybody gets Jupiter in their sign, right? So 2026, it would be Leos that, you get the most luck that you've had in 12 years, right? But again, it doesn't mean nothing happens for you from that 12 years. It's just a new cycle. It's a new cycle. It's a big one because it's Jupiter. And remember, you want to watch for your rising. I want to make that very clear. You want to watch for your rising sign. That's where a lot of these aspects I say are going to resonate the most, but everyone has different birth charts. Even like, it would be good to look at the Cancer area of your chart. Are there planets there? You know what I mean? Like, what degrees are they at? So we can go a lot deeper at a later time, but everyone's going to feel it differently. This is a big deal. All right. Especially if you're Cancer moon, or, if your moon is aspecting it just because the moon rules Cancer. And so that's why Jupiter in Cancer is really expanding emotional growth. That would be the biggest theme for everybody. It does not matter what sign you are, from June, for an entire year, it's all about your emotional growth. Okay. It's nurturing, it's heightened intuition and emotions, you supporting others, helping others, receiving it in kind. Jupiter is blessings, has that promise of abundance, is generosity. Jupiter is, at the end of the day, optimism and growth. Okay. And expansion. Yeah, same thing. But through the experiences that you have and the things that you're going to be learning and appreciating and having all that gratitude, and it's all in the name of becoming wiser, because Jupiter wants the best for you and he wants you to grow. Now, because Jupiter will be in Cancer, the biggest emphasis, again, it doesn't matter what sign you are, because this is just kind of like the archetype, this is the undercurrents that's happening, would be home. It's home and family. That is what Cancer rules. So you've got Jupiter bringing expansion, luck, and emotional growth, home, family, your mother, right? The moon is the mother, or your role as a mother, but also everything I said earlier, like, your gut instincts, your intuition, your emotions. So there's going to be growth here, growth in your intuition and you emotionally growing. And it's, again, especially with home, family, real estate. A lot of y'all going to be buying properties just in general, but some signs will 1000% definitely be, that's going to be a big thing for you. A lot of you are going to be having kids. This is Jupiter in Cancer. It's the family home. It's Jupiter. It's growth, right? So the foundations of your life, okay? Jupiter is expanding and bringing luck and comfort there. Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So what does that mean? Jupiter is, it rules Sagittarius and Pisces, right? So Jupiter's at home in those signs. But in Cancer, Jupiter is not only in home, Jupiter's in a throne being carried by people. All right. So this is wonderful. Jupiter in Cancer is going to change your entire life in ways that you had never imagined, because you haven't experienced this in 12 years. B, this is happening with Saturn and Neptune and Aries, which you have not experienced ever in your lifetime. This is also happening while Pluto is in Aquarius with Uranus and Gemini, that will be trining, right, all year, which you have not experienced in your lifetime. So what's happening this year, you've never experienced this. So I can tell you to think about 2013, 2014, pick up the patterns that happened in your life. Again, Jupiter in Cancer is something different for every sign, right? Every sign. And again, you want to look at your rising too, but it's got to be very different. You can pick up like patterns from 12 years ago. It's just going to be very different. It's going to be different this time. And remember, it's your karmic journey. All right. And all about the heart and soul. There's this warmth. It's a lot of mama bear energy too. Papa bear, all of that. So really nice. And again, when I do your forecast, we'll go through, because everyone's going to feel that growth and abundance in different areas of their life, in addition to everything that I said: home, family, loved ones, all of that, in addition to, okay? So like, for instance, if you are Gemini rising, that's your second house. Jupiter in Cancer, that would be your second house. So you're going to make the most money that you've made in 12 years. And that's just how the cycle runs, right? I mean, obviously you got to take that action. The potential is there, but yeah, that's what normally happens. And again, more like, you got to look at everything in your chart, but it's different for everybody. And June is going to be a month where there's got to be a lot of focus on comfort and love and home, family, and money and food. And you're going to have a big shift in perspective. Okay. Now, another thing I'm going to mention is that because Mars This is going to be amazing. And this is something that I will say in your June forecast. I want you to get really excited about this. Mars, remember, was retrograde, yeah, in Cancer from last fall. You remember that? Up until, what was it, March of this year? So again, that's why I say think about that Cancer area of a chart. It means something different for all 12 signs. Now, Jupiter, since Mars is no longer there, no longer retrograde, and Mars doesn't do well in Cancer, that made it difficult, right? Challenging. Now that that's done, right? Where you could have had delays, where you could have felt that things were, heightened sensitivity, all of that, right? Now that Jupiter's here, Jupiter is going to bring that promise. It's going to bring that expansion and that luck for the things that you may have wanted in that Cancer area of your chart that you didn't get. That started, it was like October until March. So you see, again, it's like night and day. The first half of this year, and from this point forward, especially when Jupiter moves into Cancer, okay? Jupiter will do it. But also, I do want to remind you that Jupiter will be in Cancer for an entire year. So don't expect things like the day that Jupiter moves into Cancer. No, it's a year. So the things that you didn't get in that 6 months could materialize in the next 6 months, the 6 months following Jupiter moving into Cancer, not right away, especially with Saturn and Neptune and Aries. Remember, they're, what did I say about practicing patience? They're going to be, and we'll talk about this in a second, but anyway, just be in the mindset of initiating, okay? Because there's a lot of cardinal energy, Jupiter in Cancer, that's a cardinal sign, right? Leadership, cardinal energy with all this Aries as well, all these planets in Aries. But at the end of the day, remember, Jupiter is faith and belief and optimism. So that is what you're going to feel. And that's what gets you through it. And it's such a warm and fuzzy. We love Jupiter in Cancer, and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, meaning Jupiter does its best out of all 12 signs in Cancer. So it's really exciting. It's very, very, very exciting. So definitely, Jupiter will be very present right now. Yeah, very present. You know that Jupiter is in Gemini right now. There's all these aspects happening in Gemini the first week of June. Oh, I'm going to tell you some aspects that are going to happen that are big, okay? That are really big. So you're still, and again, there's that, Jupiter's bearing gifts, right? Before he moves into Cancer, okay? And that Gemini area of chart, again, you'll see it when I drop your forecast this week, right? And 4 of the luckiest Jupiter aspects that happen, they happen once a year. They all happen to fall in June. They're all in June. I mean, it is literally the luckiest month. The luckiest month, all right? And with that said, too, one thing that I'll tell you now before I really get into it, do everything in June. Everything in June. Why? Mercury will go retrograde in July. Do everything in June. All right. And I think, speaking of Leo, that's what I was going to tell you. Mercury will move into Cancer. So that's really in the beginning of June. You'll have the Sun, Jupiter, Mercury, a lot happening in Cancer, right? Amplifying that energy. But at the end of June, Mercury will move into Leo. And because Mercury will retrograde, like mid-July, yeah, Mercury will be in Leo the end of June, all of July, and all of August. So when I say you got Mars and Leo right now, again, every sign feels that in different areas of your life. When Mars leaves Leo I think it's July 15th, 17th, or sorry, June 15th, June 17th into Virgo. When that happens, that Leo story, Mars and Leo, it's not over because Mercury will, kind of like pick up the torch. And that's all about like communication and right, new things that you're launching. You're gonna it's and you're gonna be doing things. So, and again, that's for everybody. Everyone, Leo rules a house for everybody, right? If you're an Aquarius like me, Leos are opposite sign. Therefore, the emphasis, Aquarius are going through a lot of things with partnerships, relationships, one-on-one connections, marriage, legal matters, signing things. So that's their Mars and Leo story. But again, when Mars leaves Leo, Mercury's going to hop in there into Leo. So that story's not done all summer. All right. Because we also move into Leo season. So August? Like, yeah. Anyway, that's really funny. So just, try to get everything done in June. Now, I'm going to give you some dates. And does anybody have any questions so far? Y'all good? Carrie, you're a 0-degree Cancer moon. I love that. Virgo, Aries. Okay. Oh, Cancer rising. Yeah, I love all this. I love all this Cancerian energy. And speaking of which, this is for everybody too. In your weekly forecast, and you're all tier 3 members, and thank you so much for being tier 3 members. It means the world to me. And I love doing the second videos for y'all with the bonus spreads and I talk about the lunations and the asteroids. I love that. I love this. And I will start bringing in more. Okay. I still have to do that separate video on Aries, by the way, but that'll happen too. There is an aspect. Okay, so we all know about Ceres at this point. Now, because I've brought Ceres up a couple times. Ceres is freshly new in Aries. So it's not just Saturn and Neptune at that 0-1 degree point in Aries. It's Ceres too. All right. And Ceres is Persephone's mother. Ceres is the mother archetype, self-care, self-nurturing, nurturing others. But more about your self-care and self-nurturing, your physical health, your emotional health, everything, mental health, everything, right? Diet, nutrition. This is divine feminine. This is Ceres. Okay. Very like mother, especially in Aries now, like, with that spirited energy. May 28th, that's going to be 10 days from now. All right. I just want to, okay, just to give you a little bit of an idea, because this may resonate for some of y'all. The moon will actually, May 28th to the 30th, the moon will be in Cancer. So I would just pay attention to around those dates. With the moon in Cancer, the moon rules Cancer. With all this energy that we're about to move into, all this Cancer energy. Remember, Sun in Cancer. We have a new moon in Cancer. We have Mercury going into Cancer. We have Jupiter going into Cancer, all in July. So right before we move into June, May 28th to May 30th, the moon will be in Cancer. Again, the moon is your emotions and feelings. It's your subconscious as well, right? Your gut instincts, your maternal side. It could also be your mother, your grandmother, a female figure in your life, right? Also home, family, everything that I mentioned. Now, Ceres will actually square the moon, all right? This is going to happen a little bit after that new moon in Gemini, all right? And then, so you've got Ceres, the mother archetype, squaring the moon, which is the mother. So just bear that in mind. I do talk about this so I will just to get I talked about this in everyone's forecasts or I mentioned it, right? Just to give you like an idea of what we do talk about in the tier 3, that with the lunations and the planetoids and asteroids. But some of these big ones that come up, I really want you to be aware of, because this is a kind of a big square. And so just pay attention to May 28th, there could be, you know, a little bit of a squeeze with you and your mother, or you and your grandmother, or a maternal figure, or you know, it depends on a lot of y'all. It could be like a female boss, it could be a female friend, it could be, do you know what I mean? Like, or sister, things like that. There could be a little bit of a squeeze here when you have Ceres squaring the moon. A lot of it, remember, there's something happening next week where it's just a lot of Mercury energy. So a lot of people are going to have a lot going on up here anyway. And so Mercury being in Gemini, at home in Gemini. So it's a lot of like think before you speak energy that could be happening that week as well. Just pay attention because Saturn will be conjuncting Ceres. And that can be a little bit like forceful. So just something here with like a maternal figure, or again, the role you play as a maternal figure as well. All right, mama bear energy. All right, so because Ceres is linked to Virgo and we have the South Node in Virgo, remember it's also like releasing those perfectionist energies and being hard on yourself, but diet and nutrition as well. So there may be something here with diet, nutrition, bones, health, nourishment, how you care for yourself, how you care for others. But the bigger thing is mother. Like, do you, and I don't know, for a lot of y'all, I mean, do you live near your mother, or do you live far away from her? Do you live far away from her because you need distance? Like, you can't be around her every day. You may have a great relationship, and that is what makes the relationship great, is the distance, right? That's Ceres squaring the moon. It's like you can have a really wonderful relationship, but your mom could be a big part of your life where you're just like, well, I need actual physical distance. But anyway, so that's why I'm just saying, just bear this in mind, okay? And then some dates in June, okay? Now let's get to June. Just remember, that's right before we get to June. The first date, again, I don't think you may even hear this from other people, but I saw this and I was just like, okay, well, we need to talk about this because this is kind of a big deal too. I'll do a banner here. So June 1st, the very first day of June, we have all right. Ah, can you see that? I added a banner. Did it not go up? Oh, there it is. Okay, so June 1st. This is going to be big. So this is how we're moving into June. We have a triple conjunction. So we have Venus, Chiron, and Eris all conjuncting. Remember, Eris is Mars's sister, the goddess warrior. All right. Aries is ruled by Mars. Okay. So Eris is in her brother's home. And he's just like, right. So, but you have Chiron here, the wounded healer, and you have Venus. So, this, I just want you to know as you move into June, there may be some themes of relationships and partnerships and money that comes up where this aspect is asking you to do some healing, right? If you have old wounds about maybe former partners, or, you know, something in your current relationship, or maybe you're single and you want a relationship, but maybe there, you know, there's, you're like, oh, I don't know how, or things like that, things like that. Anyway, this is all about money and relationships and partnerships, even creative partners, or your creative perspective and things like that. All right. This is very like, it can, again, it can be former. Oh, you got Chiron here, right? So former lovers, and maybe even like if you felt that you're still recovering from, you know, breakup, things like that. This is the day. You may feel it strongly. Emotions may surface because Eris is saying, you better, I'm making you look at this Chiron energy. I'm making you do that healing. And Venus is all about harmony and beauty and compromise. So, right from the get go, and every sign will feel this. Every sign will feel this. This is a day should something come up, because it is a strong conjunction over that, weekend, June 1st. Give yourself permission to heal. Okay? Give yourself permission to heal. Should something come up. And again, it doesn't have to be partnerships. Right? Venus is beauty. Venus is a lot of things, right? Creativity, we know, right? But yeah, there could be something here with intimacy, there could be, and again, something with money. Venus is money. Eris is going to make you look at things. All right. So now, does anybody have any questions so far about any of that? All right. Now, the other thing is, just remember Saturn conjuncting Neptune all month, and we'll talk about that in your monthly forecast. Again, I just don't want to repeat some of the things that that I'm going to drop for you for your monthly forecast for all signs. But Saturn, freshly new in Aries, going to sextile, Pluto and Aquarius all month. That's amazing. Saturn and Pluto working together. That, by the way, yes, you'll feel more when you get to mid-June, but definitely really strongly in July. Okay. Same thing with Neptune. Remember, Saturn is with Neptune, so you'll see, Neptune sextile Pluto as well. And remember, Pluto really is all about like empowerment, your power. That's also how you contribute to the collective. It's all about the collective, but it's your future. It's you putting a lot of energy and effort into your future. All right. All right. So let me just remove this. Another thing that's happening is that this is just one of my favorite aspects that you're going to love. And that would be, where is it? Okay. Well, there it is. Okay. That would be June 4th. And this is going to be happening later that night, June 4th, my time, Eastern Standard Time. So it could be, June 5th, you'll feel it. Anyway, it's a sextile, so you feel it like the day before, days before and after. This is literally one of the best days of the year. I love this aspect because it's the two benefic planets. And sextiles, remember, are these windows of opportunity for you. And this is luck and abundance in love and money and creativity. And what brings you pleasure. This is a gift. This is Jupiter on at pretty much at 29 degrees here at the point. Okay. So this is like one of those gifts that Jupiter's leaving you. All right. With Venus, please be social. Venus wants you to be social and interact with people. Doesn't matter who it is, right? Whatever Venus is what you desire, right? So everyone's going to feel this energy, but I love this as you move into June. Okay. And then Venus does actually on that day, well, I think it's this is something that a lot of y'all are going to get excited about. You will see that Venus moves into Taurus. And so this is big because Venus will be in Taurus all month. Yeah. Venus is exalted in Taurus. Yeah. So do you see what's happening here? You have the two benefic planets, Jupiter and Venus, in their exaltations. Jupiter in Cancer, Venus in Taurus, pretty much all June. Like, you can't make this up. I can give you 40 reasons why June is the luckiest month and the best month, but this is amazing. Okay. This is absolutely amazing. There is going to be focus, Venus, again, what your heart desires, what brings you pleasure. Venus is exalted in Taurus, which is all about comfort, your physical world, your material world. And I think I mentioned food and diet earlier. There could be something here with food. Go finally, go treat yourself at that Nobu. Okay. Bennigan's, wherever you want to go. Right. And money. Remember, Venus is money and Taurus is a finance sign. You got Jupiter moving into like this is an amazing month. June is an amazing month. All right. And I'm just looking at the time here. I'm going to give you a couple more. And again, these I'll definitely mention in your monthly forecast, but this one is enormous. June 8th. You have Mercury conjunct Jupiter. This is a once a year aspect. Again, the fact that this is happening at 29 degrees in Gemini, remember that critical degree, that anaretic degree, it's like something's culminating here in that area of your life. There's something here where it's like a graduation where you're getting your diploma. All right. So you've got Mercury conjunct Jupiter and Gemini at 29 degrees. This brings like great news, brilliant ideas. You're going to find yourself being just like really social and charming. And there's like negotiations, business deals being done. Also, travel could be, y'all, it could be, planning travel in a really big way. Okay. In a really big way. Or if not physical travel of the mind, because that's Jupiter here, right? Jupiter is like your perspective, it's your philosophies, it's higher mind. So whatever's happening here, it's all in the name of becoming wiser. This is you maybe learning something new, studying, going back to school, starting something new. Remember I said there's a lot of like online things happening right now for the next few weeks for y'all. So maybe starting a website, starting, something with social media, starting to do advertising or marketing for your business, starting a new business, publishing, broadcasting. That's Jupiter's domain. But then you got Mercury here as well. And this is sextiling Venus and Taurus. Like you can't make this up. But that's just that's on the other side of the degrees, but it's a thin sextile, but nonetheless you have Venus and Taurus. So anyway, this is really great. Now here's the thing, that's really great, but remember I said even though there's all these amazing aspects that are happening, there are still some challenging aspects that are going to come up. That day, you will have Mercury square Saturn and Neptune and Venus square Pluto. All right. So this day, yes, absolutely amazing. This aspect is absolutely amazing. But with these squares on the same day, yeah, you want to be, it could be you wanting too much power, right? Or it could be you like being mindful of the way that you communicate. This is also elements of like being possessive and elements of jealousy and relationships being tested, right? So that's a thing because it's these squares, which you just have to work with the squares, right? That's all it is. It could be also like wishful thinking and believing you're going to get things that you didn't put effort in, like that can happen with Mercury in these squares, okay? As well as Venus square Pluto, and on top of that, by the way, the moon will be in Scorpio. So I've already told you what the moon in Scorpio is like. So the moon will be in Scorpio that day, brings a little bit of intensity, especially with like relationships and money. And that's why it's like those energies that I talked about earlier. But the moon in Scorpio will conjunct Juno. So we've talked about Juno, who is all about truth, justice, balance, and power in relationships, in contracts, agreements, even wealth, all of that, things like that. All right. So it is to say the least, it is an intense day because conjunctions can be intense. So just be mindful of that. That's all, because it is one of the best aspects, Mercury conjunct Jupiter. All right. So again, we'll talk more about it. And then within hours of that, Mercury then moves into Cancer, which is fine. You hear the church bells? Wow. Okay. Mercury in Cancer, by the way, you'll have here for a few weeks. And again, we'll talk about that more in your weekly forecast. but that's fine. It's fine. It's Mercury, the mind, Cancer, the heart, emotions, feelings, intuition. So it's just we're now merging them, okay, with Mercury and Cancer, right? Okay, that's the energy that you're going to be feeling. Um, and by the way, there may be something here. There may be something here. Actually, I'm gonna so around June 17th, June 18th. I know I'm skipping. I want to just see something real quick. Yeah, there may be something. Okay. Okay. I'm just looking at something real quick. Well, there may be something. I may have the dates wrong. I'm just looking at my notes. I'm like, is that actually happening around this time? Yeah, there may be something here. And again, I think it's more June 17th, 18th. I'll clarify this in your monthly forecast when we get to it. There's gonna be something from February 24th coming up. Okay. Think about that time. Think about the week of February 24th. All right. In that Cancer area of your chart. Something from that time is coming up. Okay. Now, the last great aspect I will tell you is, and if this is your birthday, oh my goodness, like I'm just gonna again leave it here so you can put it so you can take a screenshot, whatever you need to do. I'm actually gonna do two and I'm gonna do a twofer here. Do people say that word? It's weird coming out of my yeah. Anyway, 2 for 1. We're okay. So I love that the church bells are playing right now. Okay, so mark this in your calendar, please. This is it. Oh, that's interesting. How? Oh, wait. I put that in the comments. Anyway, it should be on your screen, I think. This is amazing because on June 24th, you have Jupiter conjuncting the sun. That happens once a year. That is always the luckiest aspect of the year. You have to look at what's happening behind the scenes too, right? What are the other aspects happening? But this, look at what's happening. Look at what's happening. First of all, when you have the sun conjunct Jupiter, that is basically, think of the sun card in tarot, right? Jupiter's the Wheel of Fortune card. That's what's happening here, June 24th. But it's happening right at that new moon in Cancer. That's again, I've told you the one that we have this month in May, the new moon in Gemini, and the one next month, the new moon in Cancer, are two of the best new moons of 2025. Period. Unarguable. They're the best. There's some more throughout the year that I love that we'll talk about, but one of the reasons why is because they're actually super moons too. So the one coming up is a super new moon. The one in Cancer is a super new moon. So the moon's orbiting so close to Earth, you are going to feel it. But that new moon in Cancer that's conjuncting Jupiter. I mean, when was the last time you saw a new moon conjunct Jupiter, right? Happening while the sun conjuncts Jupiter. So, and Mercury here too. Mercury's conjunct here. Like Mercury's part of the mix. I mean, I don't think Mercury's not conjunct, but Mercury's part of the mix. Mercury's still in Cancer at this point. So again, it's insane. And remember, this is starting a new cycle. So I've tracked this too. I've been doing this a long time. When the sun conjuncts Jupiter, I always like to see. I go back, like I take notes. I do, I go back for years and years and years, and it happens in a different sign every year. Last year it was Taurus. It was, so just pay attention to what happens around this time. It is literally setting up this new cycle for you. That's major. Okay. Some of y'all will feel something. You will get like great news the day of, maybe even days before. There may be something big that happens, an offer or just something big will happen around this time, right off the bat. But for some of y'all, it may be something that you see emerge a little bit later. Everybody is different, right? But just know everyone will feel this at one point. And for me personally, when I track the Jupiter Cazimi, the Sun conjunct Jupiter, right? That's a Jupiter Cazimi. There has always been something that when I look back at that date, if I just look within the, 2 or 3 day range of that date, yes, some of the biggest things in my life has happened for me. So again, but that's why it's just like paying attention to what's happening how throughout the month. Okay. And preparing yourself for this month, putting yourself in a position where you want that pot of gold at this point. But again, this is a beautiful new cycle. And remember, it is kicking off a new cycle, big one. So just want to repeat, some of y'all may see things manifest right on the day, days before, days after. Some of y'all, it may be part of the cycle where it's something's emerging. It's something big. Okay. And remember, this is all free. Planets have energy, it's all frequency. So you want to vibrate at that high frequency. Yeah. And you'll see that happen in your life, even sometimes. So, like, let's say, like, at this point, because this is such an optimistic month, right? But at this point, if you're still saying things like, oh, nothing happens for me, or I'm going through the hardest things, when you're focusing all your energy on all that, low frequency energy rather than, like, oh, things have been hard, but oh my goodness, I'm seeing this happen, I'm making this happen. That's, that's a different frequency. But if you're still kind of like in that low energy frequency at this point, yeah, this may be just when you come out of it, right? This may be just like, and that's a big thing in itself, right? If you were here, this is the 24th, 25th. But if you were here at that time, if you've already come out of that like low energy frequency, then the 24th, 25th, you're getting something here. Does that make sense? So you want to be vibrating at the high frequency. Jupiter, like I said, is all about self-belief, wisdom, inner wisdom, and faith. And if you're not using his energies, if you have no faith, if you don't believe in yourself, if you feel like you're not, learning anything to become wiser, then Jupiter doesn't understand that energy. Does that make sense? So please, and that's why I'm just like always vibrate at this high frequency, even if you find yourself, in a moment. And again, we all have moments, of course, but I always say, have those moments, just don't get stuck there. What can you do to come out of it? And it's the same thing. I mean, I say this is a karmic cycle, right? There's an element of karma with Jupiter too. And so it's all part of your path. And it's like the same thing I say, like if you see someone that is stuck in some low energy frequency, help them come out, right? So you'll be rewarded. You'll be rewarded. I hope that makes sense. Now, I know I'm running out of time here. Mars is moving into Virgo. Okay. We'll talk about that. So remember, every planet changing signs. So you got Mercury, remember, moving into Cancer around June 8th, June 9th, right? And that's great. And then Mercury will move into Leo at the end of the month. Be there for 2 months. You have Mars moving into Virgo. That's insane. That's amazing. Mars and Leo's fun, but that can be really strong energy. But again, you still have a lot of that Leo energy happening, right? That will be happening with Mercury and Leo. But then Mars moves into Virgo, and it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years since Mars has been in Virgo. And personally, I love Mars in Virgo. I love Mars in Virgo. You're going to be really proactive, taking action, especially with you may feel it's like whistle while you work. I'm going to be busy. I'm taking action. I'm making things happen. Virgo, it's all about checking off your to-do list. Virgo is all about service to others as well. A lot of work, a lot of health as well, healthcare and your health. So love it. I love it. Mars and Virgo. Mars and Virgo is the 10 of Pentacles, by the way, in tarot. All right. And so that's pretty much it with what's happening with we obviously move into Cancer season on June 20th. Happy birthday, all Cancer, and officially summer. Welcome to summer and fall if you're in the southern hemisphere. But that's amazing. We'll talk about the sun in Cancer when we get to that time. But I mean, it's a solstice. I mean, there's so much happening around this time. One other thing I was going to say about the 24th and the 25th, the luckiest of the entire year, right? Those dates is that just happening at that same time, you will have Mercury sextile Uranus at 29 degrees. So that's good news coming out of nowhere. That's your breakthrough or something big happening for you. You also will have the sun sextile Mars. Yeah. And then you will have Mercury trine Saturn, bringing that long term, and Mercury even trine Neptune. So again, when I say that's the luckiest aspect of the month, but all these other things that are happening, this truly makes June the luckiest month of 2025. Now, one last thing before I let you go. With that said, again, there's gonna be some things, and I'll put it here if you want to write it in your thing. This day, I want you to pay attention to around this time. Okay. It is, yeah, you hear me typing a lot. I hope there's some stuff happening. Okay. So this is happening mid-month. So even though there's all these amazing things happening, and June is the luckiest month, like I said earlier, there will be some aspects that are still a little bit challenging. Okay. And let's go through them. Let's start with Mars. Okay. And this is just to help you prepare. Oh, by the way, oh my goodness. I forgot about the we have a full let me tell you about this real quick. Y'all are gonna love this. Okay. I gotta delete one of these. Okay. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Add banner. Okay, so if you want to mark this in your date or in your calendar, June 11th, we have a full moon in Sagittarius. This is one of the best full moons of the year. This is, you can't, it's a Jupiter ruled full moon, first of all, because remember what I said earlier, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Like, you can't make this up. When I say this is one of the best months, this full moon, it's happening while Jupiter will be pretty much conjuncting Mercury in Cancer. I call this the full moon of Epiphany. This is when you will have a huge shift in perspective. There's something culminating, but with this full moon in particular, there will be a really big emphasis on what comes after. It's almost, I mean, it's nothing like a new moon, but it has the feel of like a mini new moon, like that, like a one leaf, like that. I love this full moon is all about gaining wisdom. And it is, again, Jupiter ruled. You're so protected during it, and it's such a positive full moon. Again, one of the best ones. And it's more just like there's something that's ending, but in a way that's like, okay, we've learned our lessons here, moving on to the next, graduating, right? Jupiter is so at home with this full moon. And remember, Jupiter is just active all month. Okay. This is self-belief. This is wisdom. So whatever happens around here, it is making you wiser. It is such a beautiful full moon. All right. Now, let's get back to June 15th. Now, this is what I just want you to be very mindful of. June 15th, around this time, so it is mid-month, we come into Jupiter square Saturn, Jupiter square Neptune, Mars square Uranus. I am going to start with Mars square Uranus because on June 10th, we will have Mars trine Chiron. So that's an amazing energy. All right. I really love that. Mars trine Chiron. Remember, that's happening June 10th. Remember, Chiron's all about wounds. Like he's the wounded healer, old wounds. This is when you can do profound healing, right? Chiron is in Aries, right? And Mars is now looking at Chiron saying, you're in my house, right? But he sees that it's Chiron. And he's like, oh, okay, he's a little wounded, the wounded healer. And he's also someone that heals others too, right? Chiron. We can talk about his backstory later. So Mars is definitely like, okay, let me come in. I want you to get out of my house, but let me actually help you, right? Let me help you do what you need to do. And then that's what's happening here. So again, Mars is also kind of like really making you look at your deep wounds to heal. Yeah, your inner wounds. Oh, in that Aries area of your chart. Again, we'll talk about this in our weekly, but this is big. Okay, it's a big deal because Mars is your inner warrior, right? And so this is basically you around June 10th and for weeks after, even week before, where you will say, I'm going to do that shadow work. I'm going to do that healing that I have to do, even old wounds, no matter what. That's how you will feel around this time. Like no setbacks. I'm going in. I'm going in. All right. So now you kind of needed to know that before I talk about June 15th, Mars square Uranus. Okay. Because remember, Mars is still trining Chiron. All right. So Mars being in Leo in a square like this, remember Mars and Leo in general, that can be a little, fiery. That can be, it's the, royal maker. It can be, I'm the king, I'm the queen, like those lower expressions of like ego, pride, right? Now it's squaring Uranus. So there's a little bit of it can be like a little heated. It is almost like a little boiling point here. So bear that in mind. This can be a little bit of, impatience. It is Mars and Leo, Uranus and Taurus. So remember, they're fixed signs, some fixed energy here. Okay. At this point, with Mars trining Chiron, as you do your like healing with Uranus now in the mix, it's almost like now you're just like, F it, I'm ripping the band-aid off. Okay. For any of that healing, and you're protected with Jupiter. Remember all the other stuff happening in the background. All right. But this, remember, Uranus is all about change, progress, and breakthroughs. So because Mars is so impatient and now Uranus is a little impatient, this is more about anything where you have any like low frequency, even like things that are, like any old wounds or any shadow work that you have to do. There's going to be, you're going to feel this and you're going to be like, you know what am I doing? I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to do that healing, do the meditation, go to the wellness retreat, get a massage, whatever you need to do to just, right? That's what's happening here. Remember, this is all about like, mastery of self. And yeah, it is Uranus. So there could be like sudden fires you have to put out that's happening like within your world. But remember, you want to practice patience. That's what Saturn and Aries is, right? So now, speaking of Saturn and Aries, Jupiter will square Saturn that same day. Here's what's happening. So you've got Mars square Uranus, Jupiter square Saturn on June 15th. So this could possibly be the most challenging day, right? Happy Father's Day. But this is one where Mars square Uranus, it happens once a year. And again, there's just something inside you that needs to awaken, okay? That needs to be shaken up. Like, let's shake this up and shake this out of us, okay? That's what's happening here, but just be mindful of any outbursts and being impatient. You can use Mars square Uranus, like I said, channeling this energy for positive change, right? For I don't know, joining a march, or going in your closet and doing like a Billy Idol dance, like dancing it out, right? Like, but also there's so much potential for opportunities and breakthroughs with Mars square Uranus. Okay, that's the thing. So if you're focusing on all the low energy frequencies, you won't even see those opportunities that Uranus and Mars is bringing you. So this is actually Mars square Uranus can be very exciting because you will feel driven for sure. Okay. Try new ways for breakthroughs. That's Uranus. Now, okay. Oh yeah. So, oh yeah, and Uranus, remember, is at 29 degrees. So there's a gift for you here. There's something you're there's a graduation, but there's something like you're being rewarded, right? So use this. Now, Jupiter square Saturn, real quick. Remember, Jupiter expands, Saturn restricts. That's all it is. These are two very new energies that you'll be working with Jupiter now in Cancer, Saturn in Aries. All right. So remember, all of this is really that leadership energy, really stepping up to the plate. It's That's what it is here. Okay. Because Saturn is going to be putting on his aviators at this point. Now, remember, and yeah, some responsibilities may increase around this time. But here's the thing. This is the last one. Remember, we had Jupiter square Saturn in August and December. You've already gone through. You've already gone through this. So this one shouldn't be. It's just like you'll feel a little bit of a squeeze. And maybe it may be in a new area of your life because the planets are in new signs, but it's just so freshly new. It's still going to be connected to August and December, but it might be a feeling of you wrapping things up for something new. Okay. Now with Jupiter square Neptune, that actually technically perfects June 18th, but you will feel it June 15th. That's that delusional energy that I was talking about. When you have an aspect like this, it can bring out those lower frequencies of illusion and delusion and confusion. Okay. So you want to work with these energies, with especially with Jupiter square Neptune. And you haven't had this since I think it was 2019 was the last time. So just remember all these other amazing aspects that are happening, right? So you will have like Mars going into Virgo. There's just so many other good things, but this is basically Jupiter square Neptune and Saturn and Mars square Uranus will be your first test. Well, actually, June 8th is your first test, but this is the first test that Saturn's giving you. It with Saturn, Neptune, freshly new in Aries. Remember, Saturn will always give you tests, and you want to practice that patience. All right. As long as you're being your authentic self and putting in the work that Saturn wants you to put in, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. Okay. And not being, with Jupiter square Neptune, again, that can be a little delusion. So just pressing your intuition. That really is it. Okay. um yeah, actually it is June. It is June 18th. Remember I said something from February 24th is going to come up at this time? It's because February 24th is when Mars went direct. And that was 17 degrees. And on June 18th, you got Mercury in Cancer where Mars was at 17 degrees. So yeah, there's something here. Just mark that in your calendar. It's going to be fun for you to see like something that was brewing around that time or something that you couldn't get around that time. There's going to be something here. All right. Some sort of communication and anything that could have been delayed. It could even be something like something was like a letter was lost in the mail. It turns out this time it's just there may be something here. All right. Okay, y'all, are there any any questions? Is it okay? I'll hang on a little bit longer, but is it okay if I gotta run off and use the bathroom for a second? Is that okay? Or because I'm gonna is okay, I'll do that. Is that or and then I'll answer some questions. So have some questions prepared. I'll be 2 seconds. I'll be 2 seconds. This is so weird. I've never done this before. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you. Y'all. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I know that that's the thing. There's so much happening in June. So much happening in June. I haven't even touched upon like I'm like looking at my notes now. I'm like, I haven't even there's just so much. It's not even fun. There's just so much in June. Just know, remember, all the planets at this point have either just changed signs or will change signs in June. And first few days of you got Uranus gonna join the mix. And that's crazy. When we get to July, that's the end of it. That's when all the outer planets have changed. Like I said, we're not even we haven't even gotten through halfway the year. It's you haven't seen anything yet. You'll see that again, the energies that we went through January, February, March, April, even some of May. What's happening in June is night and day. It's even last week of May, even starting now. All right. It's gonna be like night and day, but there are those squares in the middle of the month. You'll be fine. And of course, I'll walk you through them. I'll walk you through them in your weekly forecast. You've already gone through Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune, like Jupiter square Saturn twice. But again, this is the last time. This is it. And by the way, if you want to know, when we get to 2026, oh, we have Jupiter trine Saturn. I mean, when I say 2026, I'll probably do something on my Instagram. I was just kind of like messing around with looking at the charts for 2026. I'll probably list some really big stuff happening in 2026. Of course, the biggest would be Saturn Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees in February, when we have like a million planets in Aquarius at that time, and a lot of other things. And then remember the North Node moving into Aquarius, South Node moving into Leo in 2026. There's just and so many other things that I can't even. I'm just like but June is such a busy month. I'm gonna do your videos on Saturn and Neptune. I'll even and yeah, we'll do a live stream too. I will do that. Um, as well as one on Eris. And then I will probably do a separate video. And then for all 12 signs and what all 12 signs can expect with Saturn and Neptune and Aries trining, Uranus, Uranus and Pluto in the mix as well. But also, I'll probably do a video just on the luckiest day of the year for every sign, what you can expect, June 24th, 25th. The fact that it's on top of that new moon that's conjuncting Jupiter is like, you just don't see this. You don't see this all the time. So it's really amazing. Okay, so let's see. Any questions? And again, if you asked questions earlier, I'm not like, I don't have like a thing, moderator or whatever. Feel free to leave them again, and because then I won't scroll. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Carrie, you have a question. Yes, my question is for examples of trining and squaring. Okay, like you have given us examples of sextiles being windows of opportunities and conjunctions, planting seeds. Yeah, conjunctions are where planets are, it depends on the planets. And so you always want to be mindful, not only of the planets, but what's conjuncting, but also what's happening behind the scenes. You always want to know like the archetypes as well and things like that. But anyway, it's conjunctions. Yes, there are many where it's a great, they're setting up new cycles, so you want to just naturally be part of that cycle, right? And a lot of that requires planting seeds, taking action, especially with conjunctions. Conjunctions are, planets can like they're merging their energies and what they represent. So that's conjunctions. Trines are these very supportive, harmonious aspects. And yes, you can consider them lucky in themselves. Okay. Trines can bring an element of luck. So trines are enormously auspicious and they make things effortless for you. And the difference between trines and sextiles, because those are so great, right? Is that trines kind of just like make things happen for you. It's like, think about like going down a water slide. That's a trine. It's so much fun. You don't have to do anything. You just lay there. Sextiles, you go down the slide and then, maybe you hit a little dry spot on the water slide. You got to put a little bit of effort to get the rest of the, so, but it's like just wiggling a little bit. It's just like lifting a leg. That's all it is. But sextiles are windows of opportunity, so you want to take advantage. You want to use that. Same thing with trines too, though. You want to just put all that energy out there. And then squares are, it's just like, that's where you have to put in a little bit more effort in making things happen for you, because like I said, if you're not putting in the energy and the effort, sometimes the aspects can use you. They can do things, like, so it can, Uranus is a great example. Uranus is such a great example. Uranus is like lightning, the great awakener. He's always kind of like waiting on the side, like waiting to do something unexpected, right? But because he wants you to use him. So he wants you to have that breakthrough. He wants you to do something where you're shaking things up, maybe even surprising yourself. And maybe even, again, it depends on what's Uranus doing, squaring, trining, sextile, right? So Mars, FYI, so like Mars square Uranus, since that's a little bit heavier energy, they're because again, you have to look at the planets, what's happening. They're both in fixed signs, so there's little flexibility there, right? And Mars is just like, is so impatient. He's like looking at Uranus, like, get out of my what, and Uranus is like, I'm gonna just flip the script. So you want to use that energy. You want to have that. And Mars is physicality. So again, that's why I say, like, just go do some kickboxing, go kick a ball around. And while you're doing that, these breakthrough ideas will come through, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, using those aspects. But Mars square Uranus, by the way, FYI, I'll let you know now, if that's one of those aspects, if you don't use that, then that can be Mars square Uranus is like the Tower card. Okay, Mars actually rules the Tower card, right? Is attributed to the Tower card. Uranus is like lightning, like I said. In the Tower card, you have that bolt of lightning, right? Mars is in Leo right now. The lightning is striking the crown off the tower. All right. Remember, Mars and Leo can be like ego and pride and whatnot. So again, Tower moments, I don't think they're, it's all how you use it. A lot of people have tower moments. I do it all the time. There are some things that I can just, I'll have that breakthrough. I'll abruptly stop something that I, felt like, okay, this isn't something that is going to be a gradual, like, let's, let this play out. No. In the moment, got to stop, like, and can be a little chaotic, but hey, at least I stopped while I was ahead, right? So it's how you use it. It's how you use it. Oh my gosh, that was like an hour answer. Anyway, I hope that clarified things for you. Shanda, you said you're a Cancer. You got Jupiter in Cancer in your natal chart. What does that mean for you? Well, pay attention to my readings when I talk about it, as every week. And that's the thing with my forecast, because I do the astrology. It's sequential week to week. It's like everything from last week really picks up from this, next week. But yeah, so and that's the other thing. You have Jupiter in your sign. If anybody here has Jupiter in your sign, you're going through your Jupiter return. Like, you are, I mean, you're gonna have the best year that you've had since 2012, 2013, or no, 2013, 2014. But it's a lot more new. There's so much more that plays into that. You got to look. Let me give you an example. Okay. So I have Jupiter in Gemini, right? We know Jupiter's in Gemini right now and has been since 2024, May 2024. And so everybody, any Gemini or anyone who has Jupiter and Gemini in their chart, they get the most luck, right? And good fortune, wisdom, abundance, expansion, higher mind, all of that for an entire year. Okay. However, you have to look at the degrees. So I have Jupiter in Cancer at 26 degrees in my chart, right? And so I am literally going through my Jupiter return starting now, because Jupiter is at 25 degrees in Gemini today. So you see how it's actually going over my degree point? And so so I've had a great year. Yeah. Of course, you got to think of all the other things happening behind the scenes. Obviously, I had health issues. My dog had health issues. There was a lot of things, but of course, you always want to be, I think I told you in the last live stream, even if these things that are challenging for me and, hard to work with, I still thank the universe every day for my blessings. I don't focus on that. And so there's now, so again, so for the past year, things have been absurdly like, whoa, that's exciting. Like, I can't believe that happened. Well, amazing. But now from this point forward until basically I'm going through my actual Jupiter return. So that's why you and anyone that's listening, wherever Jupiter is in your chart, you want to see that, and you want to see what degree point it is. Okay. Because it's going to be aspecting other planets. So it doesn't even matter. Like, let's say you have Jupiter, I don't know, in Scorpio, or, Jupiter in Aquarius. Even though Jupiter, you just, went through your Jupiter return recently, it doesn't mean nothing's. You still have a year. Jupiter is still bringing blessings in a different area of your chart for a year, right? But you get your big return when it goes into that sign, your Jupiter, big Jupiter return. But also, Jupiter is always aspecting, yeah, like Jupiter conjunct the sun or Jupiter conjunct Mercury. So you still get all those blessings, right? So yeah, if you're a Cancer with Jupiter in Cancer, that just doubles it, doubles everything that I said, which is amazing. That's awesome. Terry, you're early human. Angela, thank you. How will Jupiter be influencing creativity in June? That's a really good question. It depends on the aspects for everyone, every sign. Mars in Leo is doing that now. And then you have Mercury that's going to be in Leo for 2 months. So you're going to get that too, while Jupiter is aspecting Mercury throughout that time, and the moon too as well. So you'll still feel it. You'll still feel it. It's more Mars, because that's Mars's, I'm sorry, Leo's domain is creativity. But with all this Mercury energy and Gemini energy, that's very creative too. Everyone is feeling, well, from this point forward, starting today, starting tomorrow, like your creative energy will be through the roof. It all the way through June. Okay. So it's really great. And again, a lot of it depends on your chart too, but it's a really great time. It's such a very great optimistic time for everyone. Okay. Deborah, you said you're above question. Did I see it? Did I get it? Okay. Deborah, Deborah, can you leave the question again? Jennifer, Cindy, thank you so much. You're so amazing. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the super sticker. Jennifer, you said, when will romantic relationships get easier for Leo? I have a Leo with Venus and Leo, Virgo rising, Aries moon. I think you may have missed I did a whole section. So, on what's going on with Mars and Mercury and Leo and all of that, and with the aspects that are happening with June 1st. So look at that again. But also at the same time, they're not hard for you. So again, that would be shifting your perspective. When you say, when will romantic relationships get easier for Leo? They're not hard for you. They're actually really good for you right now, and they're good for everybody right now. And so it's, again, it's your mindset, right? So that you've got Virgo rising, you've got Aries moon. So you're going through big changes right now, especially with your Venus and Leo too. But it's just, it's when you think that things are not easy, you make it harder for you, right? So when you flip that mindset and saying, oh, I'm excited that romantic relationships are about to get so much easier for me, and they've always been, right? So that's when you're vibrating at the high frequency, and we all know the law of attraction, and that's when things start coming through. But with Mars and Leo really amping up the next 2 weeks, oh my goodness. And that's for everybody. Again, everyone's going to feel Mars and Leo a lot strongly very soon. When you have all this fire and air, all this Gemini energy, all this air, Pluto and Aquarius, all this air, you've got Saturn, Neptune, Ceres, Aries, all in Aries. You got Mars and Leo. I mean, there's just so much fire and air right now. But again, like I said, from this point forward, like, you're gonna see things change. Everybody will. Cindy, thank you so much again. Jennifer, let me know if that answered your question. Like, Cindy, you arrived late. Yeah, watch a replay. I say a lot. I think that, yeah. Rachel, you said this might sound kind of silly, but what's a good way to tell whether you pass the Saturn's test or need to do more work? Oh, that's a really good question. I think that if you're asking that question, it might mean that you might need to do a little bit more work, but it really is. You will know when you get rewarded, you will know. And one of the ways that you know when you're rewarded is when you don't feel that pressure and that hard energy from Saturn, right? Because he is discipline. He's boundaries. He limits you. He restricts you. He puts on the aviators, the fake mustache. He's on his horse, all of it. When you don't feel that anymore, that's when you're like, hey, I passed his test. And then you start seeing things come through, as in whatever area it is of your chart that he's ruling, you will start seeing it. And remember, Saturn is one of the slowest outer planets. So those rewards they can come like slower than, let's say, like Mercury or Venus, which are inner planets and they're personal planets, and they move a lot faster, right? So yeah, I hope that answered your question. And it's not a silly question. No, it's not. No, there's no silly questions. There's none at all. And so, yeah, with Saturn in Aries, very soon, very soon. But remember, and this is part of your question too, Rachel, and for everybody, remember Saturn will return to Pisces in September. Okay. So he's got to come back to do a little bit of a check-in. And that's when he kind of, it's more of like a review, because remember, Saturn's been in Pisces for several years. He's been testing you. You have the North Node move into Pisces. You had a lot happen in, so there was a lot of other things that were going on. So yeah, it's like 90% of the test is done. So I hope that makes sense. So he'll come back and, you'll see it. Maybe there are parts of the test that you hadn't finished that you will at the end of September to October, November. I hope that helps. But you would definitely feel it and use it and use Saturn. Deborah, you said Capricorn, Sun, Virgo, Moon, good moon. I'm a Virgo moon. You purchased a new home. Congratulations. But sale of my home has been held up. I need my home to sell so I can finalize my purchase. Everything has stalled and feels like all on hold. Yeah. And that's why I want everyone to pay attention to what I said earlier about how with Jupiter and Cancer, that is luck, good fortune, wisdom, everything that I said earlier in home. Okay? Home, family, loved ones, real estate, property matters. So I hope that helps, Deborah. I hope that helps. And even, with everything that's happening with Mercury right now, like I feel like you may even see things before that. To be honest, Mercury is such a we're talking about this, we're talking about that. Mercury's also local community. There's a lot happening. And if you are a Capricorn sun, you just had Saturn and Neptune move into your, Saturn's moving into your fourth house at home anyway next week. Okay, so Jacqueline, Carrie, you said, I appreciate the personal examples. Thank you. Oh, I still have this thing on my screen. Let me take that off real quick. Okay, so Jacqueline, you said, what about Jupiter in their rising sign? I have Jupiter in Pisces, which is my rising, 2 degrees. My Cancer is Saturn, 16 degrees. That's so ha ha ha. Yeah. Well, Jupiter in Pisces, that's amazing. First of all, anyone who has Jupiter in Pisces, because Jupiter rules Pisces, right? Sagittarius, if you have Jupiter in Sagittarius or Jupiter in Pisces or Jupiter in Cancer, well done. Well done. But yeah, again, you want to look at your rising first, okay? With the Jupiter transits, your rising sign. So if that's your rising, that you're set. If it's at 2 degrees, remember, Jupiter's moving into Cancer June 8th, 9th, right? Depending on where you live. And we'll be at that 0, 1, 2 degree point pretty much all of June. So who feels that the most? You. If you have Jupiter in Pisces at 2 degrees, you're going to feel that like enormously. Okay, because it's aspecting. Does that make sense? It's like you're gonna feel it. It's basically Jupiter in Cancer will be trining your Jupiter in Pisces. Okay, it's the same, element there, water. I mean, like you're fine. You're good. You're really good. So that's why these degrees are so important. They're so important to know. So really great. All right. Verena, you said your Cancer, Sun, Scorpio rising, Jupiter, Sagittarius, Jupiter, Gemini, Mercury. You just had a breakthrough. Yes. Yes, I'm glad you said that. Everyone is going through some big breakthrough right now with the Uranus cazimi. That's happening today. Okay, remember I said Uranus is going to be telling us there's something in your life from this moment forward. Okay. You have the Uranus Cazimi. Next weekend, you have Mercury conjunct Uranus, where a lot of y'all will be signing things or starting something new, launching something new, or just having your breakthrough, big breakthrough. And again, Mercury's a mind. So it could be in the way that you're seeing something or thinking, your perspective. There's something here. But then Uranus is going to be at that 29-degree point pretty much all of June before Uranus moves into Gemini, where everything that you're going through now, right, with the Mercury, like with everything that's happening, the Mercury Cazimi is going to be really big, by the way. That's happening in Gemini. I talk about in your forecasts that are coming out. So you see how there's like a little bit of like a lot of going back to certain things, picking up on and taking it forward. And again, there are some dates that I'm just looking at and just like, it is just mind blowing. I hope you mark down that January, where am I? June 18th. Just seeing Mercury in Cancer at that 17-degree point, there is just something so satisfying about that. Okay. Because it is when Mars in Cancer did go direct. February 24th at 17 degrees. It's just exciting. All right. As you move into the, luckiest day of the month, of the year. Who am I kidding? Of the year. Greg, you have your Jupiter in Virgo, 20 degrees. Well, that's the thing. Like Virgos are, and again, this is for everybody, but you have your Jupiter in Virgo, so that's great. When you have Mars, by the way, Greg, remember Mars is moving into Virgo, okay? When you have Mars, you're eventually going to have Mars on top of your Jupiter, which is absolutely amazing. And that's probably going to be early August, late July, early August. Like that's going to be really, really amazing. But I mean, you got to look at your entire chart, because the other thing that's happening in June is Mars is moving into Virgo. And then when we get to July, remember, for everybody, the South Node is in Virgo. And so there's going to be a point where Mars is going to be, because Mars is moving into Virgo, Mars is going to just jump on that South Node. And Mars is like a laser, okay? And sometimes you can really see that. And when he's on your South Node, he's going to say, okay, whatever you have to let go, whatever lesson you have been learning, whatever it is, like it's time. Let's bye-bye, right? That's what Mars is going to be doing. I can give you the exact date. Actually, that would be, oh yeah, that's going to happen around July. And this is for everybody. Mars is going to be on the South Node. July 18th. July 18th. It's going to perfect on the 20th, and then July 23rd. So that week you will have Mars on the South Node. And there's going to be a couple aspects that are happening at that time where Mars is going to square Venus, by the way. So, which isn't bad, actually. I don't mind it. I don't mind Mars squaring Venus. That's just like, ooh, I really want this. I'm really gonna go get it, right? Like that's but yeah, it's just around that time that everyone's gonna there's gonna be something there around that time to let this go. Because it's almost like you see Mars coming around the corner with his lightsaber. You're like, okay, what do I have to let go? Something that may have to do with health, hygiene. I mean, remember Ceres, Hygeia, they're all active. Healthcare, or even work, or your everyday activities, habits, routines, patterns, things like that. But the most important of all, anything that you're doing that's where you're being hard on yourself, that's what we're letting go, right? So everyone will feel that. Everyone, but yeah. All right. Okay. I'm gonna Angela, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Carrie, thank you so much. Y'all are amazing. Enjoy your holiday. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do for us. Now go do you. I will. I really appreciate it. I want to make sure I get all your questions though. I want to make sure. I mean, I this is for you. My appreciation for you for being tier 3 members. Y'all really, it's the again. I just want you to know how meaningful it is. So I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Lisa, you said your spouse is Sag rising, but due to intercepted houses, 10 of 12 houses are same as in Capricorn rising. Which sign should we watch for her? I would, I would always look at rising and sun all the time. Rising and sun, again, remember that completes the full picture. When you read for your sun sign, you're only getting half the picture. And the sun really is, and it's important because it is your purpose. It's who you are. It's your core, right? It's you, it's the sun. And a lot of it can be career related too, but rising has a lot to do with the aspects. But it's not limited to that. Like you want to watch the moon as well. Like for instance, I think I made this, like anyone who has, listen, so the moon, right, will go through every sign every month. So there's going to be a peak period of emotions for everybody, every sign, every month. But you got to look at the aspects, because if you do feel emotionally heightened or really sensitive or maybe even hard on yourself, that's the moon. And I've been telling a lot of people, and I've been watching more of my moon sign, being a Virgo moon, because South Node moved into Virgo. I know that there was a lot of Virgo aspects. There was a lot of lunation. So I've been like, the moon told me more about what I could expect when I watched my, the forecast for my moon. So, but that's the thing. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's the sun and rising would be the most important. And then throw in the moon a lot for emotions, things that you're going through, that you're experiencing, things that you have to let go. A lot of that. Okay. I hope that helps, because the lunations, and that's why we do this, in the second spread, is they're a big part of the picture. And that's why I do bring in the asteroids and the planetoids. And yeah, I will eventually start bringing in fixed stars. I think we're ready, right? I'm going to grab, and so I'm just going to give you a little, like, look at that. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is, and those are just the ones that I want you to pay attention to. That's what I'm going to drop this week. Those are just the ones I want you to pay attention to. Like, oh, watch out for this one. You may feel emotionally heightened, or this one's amazing. Please do that. Like that. Those are just the ones so there's always a lot happening with the lunations as well, but sun and rising and moon if you can. And Sagittarius rising. Oh my gosh. Just wait until the full moon. Just wait until the full moon in Sagittarius. What's amazing. I love it. I love it. That's happening in June. Angela, you're working on a huge creative endeavor at the moment. That's amazing. Use this, please, because the sun is about to move into Gemini, and so is Mercury. And there's an element of that. It's all about the mind. It's creativity. With Mars and Leo at the same time, amplifying that energy. Like, you couldn't ask for a better, yeah. Shannon, you're having massive breakthroughs. That's amazing. Deborah, thanks. So things will start moving again next couple of weeks. Yes, absolutely. Yes, everything, everyone. Oh, you're in Queensland, Australia. Amazing, Deborah. That's awesome. 3 a.m. girl. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my goodness. I'm a night owl too. I go to bed pretty late. But yeah, everyone just start. You will feel the optimism. And let me make another distinction, and I try to do this every time. World astrology is very, very different than personal horoscopes. Okay, so I want you to know that. So for some of these squares that are happening mid-month, yeah, you could see some things happen, but your horoscopes are for you and you navigating on your karmic journey, right? So that's all. All right. So, Angela, your sun in Virgo and moon in Virgo and Libra rising. You look at you go. You got to pay attention to Juno. Jackie, you asked, what about a Jupiter Capricorn is 7 degrees? Have you decided to do personal readings? I have not, so I'm not yet. Because I am, because you know how everyone's going through change. Actually, I want you to write, if you're not experiencing change right now, you will. But I want you to write it down. If say that you're not, I dare you. No, I'm joking. Everyone's going through change. It's a big time. But yeah, again, Jackie, great question. With the Jupiter and Capricorn at 7 degrees, again, wherever Jupiter is in your chart, there's gonna, if it's not aspecting now, like this day, it will eventually. There's gonna be stuff that happens. So it's just a matter of just looking at for what's going on with you, right? And that's the other thing. I would actually pay attention for everybody here. Again, everybody here. Just if you know your birth chart, one thing that'll give you a really good idea of what to expect for the year ahead, for June 2025 to June 2026, just look at the Cancer area of your chart, okay? Even if you don't have planets there, you'd be surprised with what still can happen, right? That doesn't, if you don't have planets in an area of your chart, it doesn't mean nothing's going to happen. Again, there's so many layers. There's, progress charts. There's so many layers. Like I have, a progressed sun in Pisces. I have nothing in my birth chart in Pisces, but me as a Gemini rising, and even, as an Aquarius, how there's so much that we went through in that Pisces area. Everyone went through something, and with that, because everything was leaving 26, 27, 28, 29. Pisces, Saturn is leaving Pisces literally this week. North Node moved into Pisces back in January, February. You had Neptune leave Pisces. There's so much happening, but I don't have planets there. It doesn't mean I'm not experiencing things that are relevant to what's happening astrologically. If you have planets there, yes, you will feel it. There's a lot that you would feel, but again, it depends on the degrees and a lot of other things. All right. So can't just look at the Cancer area of your chart. That kind of gives you an idea of like what you can expect with Jupiter moving in there, for the next year. And if you have nothing there, doesn't matter. Just look at what the house is, what house it's in, and you'll definitely feel Jupiter in Cancer. All right. So, but yeah, Jackie, with the personal readings, not yet. I'm still on the fence because there's something else that I have planned where there's an element of that may be coming in to that plan. Yeah. But I am going through some changes, and I do want to remind everyone that, yeah, but I still have a full-time job. So, and I do 24 readings a week. I do all 12 signs. I do the bonus spreads for all 12 signs. So that's been like 60, 80-hour work weeks all year for me. So I have to make changes and adjustments. So I like literally don't have time in the day to do personal readings because I'm working on the weekends too, about 8 to 10 hours on the, every Saturday, every Sunday. And so, and I'm not like complaining or anything. It's just been like one of those years, but I'm at my point where I already know this new thing that's happening. So yeah. So to answer a question, not yet, and maybe no, but I will let you know if I do like personal readings. Because the other thing is, because there's so much I do, it's like it would be so unfair for you or anyone that I do a reading for if I'm not there, at 100%. I need to be there 100% for you. And I'm not I'm never one of those that would just do back to back to back to back to back. And it, you know, it's like I have to be there for you. So I want to make sure that you get the best reading from me and okay. So but yeah, I will let you know. Rachel, thank you so much. All of y'all, oh my gosh, y'all are amazing. I appreciate you too, Rachel. Thank you so much. Jacqueline, thank you. Y'all are amazing. I gotta go walk Ruby. I'm gonna go get her a biscuit now. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being members. Thank you for the super stickers. And yeah, I will have like announcements soon and things like that. I think I just hit the last. I'm like scrolling and I hit the last. I'm like, okay, Jacqueline. Oh, you're a big Arcade Fire fan. Are you following me on Instagram? I put some Arcade Fire up in some of my posts and my stories. I've seen them live so many times that I can't even, like, they're one of the best bands like ever. I remember my first time too. And you know what's really funny? And this is a little just to give you an idea, like maybe it doesn't, but I one of my best friends I've known since I was like 18, right? We're from Georgia, right? So we, lived together in New York. So when we were in the I lived in the Lower East Side for a long time, for like 10 years before moving to Brooklyn. And she was in a band. And she was and people, and I don't think y'all would have heard that, the band that she was in, but our apartment was a rotating door because she was friends with everybody. So I literally had like Franz Ferdinand staying in my apartment, like making them coffee. I've had, like members of Arcade Fire in my apartment, like watching, Letterman with me. Like it was kind of a funny like. And I was also I was a DJ for a long time in New York City, and so it's fun. Music is like a big thing for me. And it's always been a big part of my life ever since I was a kid. Even, I remember being 16 and, high school, and my friends and I we would drive to Atlanta to see all the bands that came through. Any show that would be like all ages, we like Radiohead. It didn't matter. It was like, Violent Femmes. It was just like, we were always there. Yeah, so I don't know, but that's the great thing about concerts, and I think I made this reference sometimes. It's like when you go to a concert, that energy that you feel, when the headlining act comes out and the whole crowd goes wild, that's energy. That's energy. That's that high frequency. You feel it. You literally feel it. And that's why sometimes I always say, like, vibrate at that high frequency as if you're at Coachella or, seeing your favorite band. Anyway, yeah, Arcade Fire. Wonderful, wonderful. One hit wonder. Your husband is a Gemini sun, Aries moon, Taurus rising. He has had so many breakthroughs. He's excited for his month to come. That's amazing, especially if he's Taurus rising. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Yeah, big one today, and then next weekend the Mercury Cazimi, or the Mercury conjunct Uranus. But then he's a Taurus rising, and that's absolutely amazing. Probably a lot of like money breakthroughs, FYI. But anyway, what else? And yeah, okay. Jackie said, "You're Cancer rising right now. Your life, my life feelings, feels like it is turning upside down." Well, if that's the way you want it to go, then that's. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, you got to flip it. What is that? What was it? Lionel Playworld? It was something like that. That's coming to my mind. You're literally, but that's what I'm saying is I think that's a typo. Am I reading it wrong? My life feels like it is turning upside down. I think you mean that in a good way. Okay. It is turning upside down. Yeah. I think that yeah. Okay. I think that you mean that in a good way. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. No, I literally just spent an hour talking about like how Jupiter is moving into her sign. So I think that I'm misreading that. Leah, your Venus in Cancer at 21 degrees. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna feel that, and eventually, Venus will move into Cancer as well. That's gonna be over the summer. It's like everything's gonna be. You'll see it. You'll see all these planets coming through. Coming through, that Cancer area of your chart, like, saying hi to all the other planets that are there, like Jupiter and whatnot. We do have the Venus Uranus conjunction in July before Uranus moves into Gemini. Y'all, that, like, when I talk about, I mean, that's amazing, right? And remember, Venus conjuncting Uranus, surprises and breakthroughs and love and money and creativity, right? And things that you desire. That's big. And remember, that's at 29 degrees. And it happens just a few days before Uranus actually moves into Gemini. Like, talk about a parting gift that you're getting in July. Lori, oh, your birthday's tomorrow. Happy birthday. That's amazing. Oh, you're going to Santa Barbara. You're in Santa Barbara. Oh, you're a Sagittarius moon. Wait, and rising. Wait until the full moon. Look at that. Look at that. Your life is changing. Actually, was it Sagittarius? There was a reading this week that I did. Excuse me. I think it was Libra. It was Libra. Libra's, wait until you see your. So there was something that truly, and I encourage, even if you're not a Libra, when the videos come out, just look at their spread. You don't even have to watch a video. Like, I mean, watch it if you're a Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, or someone that you want to watch for or share with, but just look at the spread. Never, ever happens. Like, I couldn't believe it. So, but everyone has, of course, it's the new moon. It's like, yeah. So, okay. So, Jackie, thank you so much. You're amazing. I'm so glad you're, I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, and I'm always here for you. I'm always going to answer your questions. I don't have no moderator that filters or anything like that. I will answer your questions. Like, I'm glad. Jackie, I'm glad. Brian, is that you, Brian? I appreciate it. Brian, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Everyone, Brian just had his birthday. Happy birthday, Brian. Thanks for joining. It's so great to see you. I hope you had a great birthday. I hope that you had a great birthday. And we'll catch up. Brian, you're amazing. It's so good to see you in the live stream. And that's it. This is, I think, 2 hour list. Okay, so let me keep scrolling and make sure that I get everybody here. Oh, Lori, I love your message. You're 64 and I am a 64. You have inspired me to launch a new brand, and I am so excited, more than I have been since 1998 when we built our straw bale house, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So wow, Lori, I really appreciate it. I'm so excited for you, and I'm always here for you, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here for everyone. I want the best for you. And I love what you just wrote. I'm so excited for you launching this new brand, and just proves you can do anything. You can do anything as long as you have that self-belief and you just take those inspired actions. Anything. Lori, that's such a great. I love that. It's very motivational. I might have to take a screenshot and put it in my Instagram. Okay. Jacqueline, yeah, they do. Franz Ferdinand, Jacqueline, they do have. Yeah, I saw them live in Brazil once. It was so bonkers. Deborah, turn your frown upside down. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right, Coco, you're Gemini rising too. Aquarius moon. Oh, moon in Aquarius today. You got Jupiter in Gemini. Like, what a great day for you. You're Libra. That's absolutely amazing. Again, just wait until just wait until you see your spread. And even that, we like Libras are, y'all are all right. Michelle, hello from Arizona. You're Sagittarius. You're Gemini rising too. You have your Jupiter in Capricorn, 17 degrees. I think someone else wrote that too. You're taking your certification test for medical billing and coding on the 21st. That's exciting. That's amazing. And you're nervous. I hope it's good nervous. And I mentioned that in your forecast coming up. Yes, it's a lot of mercurial energy that we're dealing with, right? It's Gemini energy that we're going to be in, okay? And that is restless energy. Remember, Mercury rules the nervous system. Like, so it's not, and I don't want you to think that in a bad way at all. It's just like, yeah, that's why Geminis are always like, I gotta go. They're the social butterflies. I gotta do this. I gotta go talk to people. I gotta do this. Geminis are, do you know what I mean? Like they have that dynamic, they gotta do. But you're gonna be feeling that energy, and it's this great energy that's you're gonna be feeling. That's really, really, really nice. Yeah, that's a good one. It's at 17. You have Jupiter Capricorn 17 degrees. That's good. You're gonna feel that when, well, just look at the, you'll see on Wednesday. All right, y'all, I gotta go. Brian, you're having a watch party with your Leo bestie. That's amazing. I hope that you I actually did. Anybody else? Brian's a big Survivor fan. Everybody knows I'm a super fan. I'm a Survivor super fan. I would win that show. If I went on it. I can't though. I have I can't. But anyway, because I know I already looked at the application. I'm like, oh, I don't. Anyway, but y'all, okay, I really gotta go. Thank you so much, y'all. Get excited for June, but just get excited for now. Okay. You have no idea. Again, when I say leaving those energies, even the smallest things like Venus, sure, Venus left retrograde a while ago, but Venus was still in shadow. And so remember, when a planet's in shadow, any of these personal planets, right? It's like still not 100%, but Venus just left shadow. And that the tiniest thing like that can make the biggest difference in your life. And there's no planets retrograde shadow other than Pluto, but that's the furthest planet out there. That's like, it's always in shadow. Like it's working on your shadow side. But anyway, y'all are good. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much. Everyone, enjoy your weekend. Lori, I love that you're writing a book. I love that. Yes, a lot of people should be right now. All this Gemini energy, Gemini rules writing, creative writing. I hope a lot of y'all are. And then Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter ruling the 9th house of publishing. So I hope, and then Jupiter will move into Cancer. There's a lot, but I hope a lot of y'all are writing books or doing things that are creative and putting it on paper and getting the word out there. Anyway, Shanda, you said, and you're Taurus at 28 degrees. Yeah, you're in your moment. You're in your moment. So I hope everyone sees how these degrees really matter. They really matter, especially when there's aspects. And when you get a perfect, like golden trine or a perfect golden triangle, like those are always so special, right? Even a mini one that we will have this week. Anyway, Shanda, let me see. You said you can't wait for your readings. You're Libra rising. You got Jupiter, Sun, Cancer. Oh yeah. Just again, Libras, like everyone had, like everyone. I don't want to spoil anything. But just I was like, and it's not just me. It's like even you get any reader, even a reader that's been doing YouTube videos for 20 years, 30 years. What happened in that was just like, no, that just does like never. And by the way, some of your bonus videos are just as long, if not longer, than your reading. I really, and only for some of you, we really needed to go deep. I was like, okay, we need to clarify this, and we really need to see this. And I will tell you right now, Lori, Taurus is one of them. Okay. Taurus is one of them. I think your bonus one was long. It was long. Okay. Just as long as, yeah. Because I'm going to start doing this too. I'm going to get in the habit of doing, well, because I always go so long in your forecasts that I was like, I got to cut it off at some point. Right. And they are going to be not as long anymore because there's going to be less. I mean, June is bonkers, but once we get out of June, like, yeah, like, but some clarifiers I will do in the bonus spreads. All right. Because if there's, and it's always because, like, sometimes I'll have a feeling when I start going through what, the lunations or whatever, I'll get that feeling. I really want to clarify this from their main spread, and I'll do it in the bonus spread. So I do that for a lot of y'all in your signs for some stuff. Anyway, I got to go. I got to eat. I got to take Ruby out. She's right here. It's a beautiful day. You got Moon conjuncting Pluto. Brian, you should be feeling that. I've seen your chart. You should be feeling that. With you got Moon in Aquarius. Okay. I think that's it. Y'all, one hit wonder, perfect way to end it. Embrace the here and now. Absolutely. Love and light to everybody. Be in the moment. Again, you're good. Everyone's good. You're going to feel this optimism this week, just kind of surging in your bones. I love you all. June's going to be amazing. Lori, it's so great seeing everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being members, and we'll catch up soon. I'll do those videos for you too, the Saturn and Neptune and Aries, with Pluto and Uranus in the mix, as well as the luckiest day of the year for every sign. We'll isolate that. Yeah. And then Aries, we really have to do. I really have to get on that. We haven't had Aries in Gemini. I think it's 12,000 years. And she's one of the reasons she's right there with Pluto at that, 0 degrees. Pluto's at 3 degrees, but going back to 1 degree, with a retrograde and everything. So they'll be together, traveling together for years, leading the brigade for this big shift in the collective that you're about to see. So I'll do a video on that, but it's all after I get back from my vacation, because I got to work on your monthly forecast this week, and I'm going to try to keep them. There's just too much, so I'm going to keep them on the shorter side. I'll try. Well, I say that, but anyway, I'm going to go. My Gemini rising really comes out a lot. All right. And this is one of those times. Oh my gosh. Okay. I got to go. Y'all are amazing. I will see you. Have a wonderful weekend. Your forecast will be out on Wednesday. Okay. And then we'll talk. All right. Y'all are good. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye.